brings an interesting and intriguing story, which I will let him tell you directly. Please welcome Mr. Damon West.
Thank you, Dean Maurer, for that suspenseful introduction. I like that. Dr. Evans, thanks a lot. Good to be here today. To all my peers, to all the family members of all the graduates, thank you for letting me talk to y'all tonight. You know, it's a great honor to be here tonight and celebrate with y'all to get these degrees that we're getting, and I'm getting my master's in criminal justice. But before I get into my presentation, there's a few people I need to recognize tonight. People with Lamar University ties, too. My mother and father, Bob and Jeannie West, right over there. I love y'all, Mom. Love you, Dad. They met at Lamar University in the 60s in the old McDonald gym when my mother was a cheerleader at a basketball game, right? My father was a sports writer for the school newspaper, the Redbird. So I got a lot of deep ties to Lamar. My fiance, Kendall Romero, and her daughter, Clara. Hey, Clara. What's going on, Clara? Kendall's class of 2009 here at Lamar University. And, about a year ago when I was talking to Kendall for about a month trying to decide whether or not I wanted to go back to school after 20 years of being out, Kendall helped me make that decision by telling me one day, Damon, you either are going to get into this school or you're going to stop talking about it. So, Kendall, I appreciate the push. Thanks, baby. There's a few of my peers I want to recognize that are here tonight, too. Ray Scrives and Richard Santisteban, where are y'all right now? Right there, guys. I had almost every class with these guys in criminal justice. Ray is the sheriff of Hockley County, and Richard Santisteban is a sergeant in the Dallas Police Department. And Richard and I actually kind of crossed paths a little over a decade ago, didn't we, Richard? Yeah, we sure did. You'll hear more about that. I learned a lot from these men, and these men come from a different part of the criminal justice complex than I come from. These guys are heroes. They're out there every day risking their lives. And I learned so much from them and from my other peers, and I hope that my other peers learned a little bit from me with my unique perspective on the criminal justice complex. There is one other person I want to thank here tonight, but he's not here, but it's Dr. Jimmy Simmons. And Dr. Simmons, when he was president of the university in 2015, wrote a letter to the parole board asking them to let me out of prison, and when I'm out, I could get into Lamar University's criminal justice master's program because he thought I'd be a good student in it. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, I doubt parole gets a lot of letters like that, but actually my parole officer is here tonight. Thanks for coming out and support me, Ms. Braggs. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, enough of the teasers about prison. Let's talk. 10 years ago, on May 18th, 2009, a jury in Dallas, Texas, sentenced me to life in prison for my role in an organized crime scheme for a bunch of drug-related burglaries in uptown Dallas. They called them the uptown burglaries, where, Richard, you were a cop, right? That's right. Because of the consequences of my choices, because I so violated the social contract, I abdicated my liberties and my freedoms and exchanged that for a 10-by-12 cell in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I went from being Damon West to inmate West, number 1585689. I'll never forget that number, y'all. People ask me all the time, Damon, what lessons did you learn from prison? What did you pick up along the way? And I could point back to one lesson, one person in particular that taught me a lesson that got me through there. It was a guy named Mr. Jackson, and Mr. Jackson was an older guy that I met in Dallas County Jail before I went to prison, before I caught that chain bus. And he saw me struggling a lot. He saw me struggling to stay positive. I was waiting to get transferred to prison to start serving a life sentence. And so he would always come check on me. And one morning he came and checked on me. He said, West, I want you to imagine prison as like a pot of boiling water, all right? He said, anything we put in that pot of boiling water is going to be changed by the heat and the pressure inside that pot. Prison's hot, y'all. He said, I want to put 3 things in that pot of boiling water and watch how they change: a carrot, an egg, and a coffee bean. He said, first things first. He said, if I put a carrot into that pot of boiling water and drop it into that pot, he said, what happens to the carrot? I said, Mr. Jackson, it's going to turn soft. He said, that's right. The carrot went in there hard but got soft. He said, carrot got beat down. He said, you don't want to be the carrot. He said, what about the egg, Wes? I said, well, Mr. Jackson, the egg turns hard like a hard-boiled egg. He said, that's right. He said the egg had a hard outer shell which protected him physically, unlike the carrot. But inside, that soft liquid core turned hard too. He said his heart got hard. He said if your heart becomes hard, you're incapable of giving and receiving love. He said, you do not want to be the egg. He said, but West, what about that coffee bean? And I had no clue. And Mr. Jackson said, you know, for a college boy, you're not too smart, West. He said, if I drop a coffee bean into that pot of boiling water we call prison, you have to change the name of the water to coffee. He said the coffee bean, the smallest of these three things, had the power to change the entire atmosphere inside that pot. He said, if you were going to survive prison, you got to be like that coffee bean. He said, everybody in life puts that energy, negative or positive. He's telling me about the laws of attraction, right? He said, whatever kind of energy you put out, you get back. He said, if you walk around negative with a frown on your face all the time, he said, you'll attract that same kind of inmate. It's a dangerous endeavor in there. He said, but you walk around positive, West, with a smile on your face all the time, and you let those guys know they're not getting you no matter what they do. He said, you'll change that prison from the inside out. He said, but the best part is the other coffee beans in prison will find you because of your energy. And with that, I was off to TDCJ to face my biggest fears. And, you know, it didn't really come with a roadmap of how to be a coffee bean, because having Mr. Jackson tell me about being a coffee bean and actually applying it are two different things. Prison was hard at first, y'all, especially that life sentence building. But once I changed my mindset and I quit looking at prison as a punishment and started looking at prison as an opportunity, I found out how to be that coffee bean. I've got 5 ways of being the coffee bean, and I'm going to share with you tonight. The first rule about being a coffee bean is your body language. Your body language speaks volumes before you ever say a word. That's right. When you walk into a room, turn a smile on, because you can change the energy in that room just like that. So you got to change your body language. That's the first rule about being a coffee bean. The second rule about being a coffee bean is you have to get up and go get it every day, y'all. You got to get up and work out. And I'm not talking about physical workout. I'm talking about 3 different areas you have to work out in: spiritually, mentally, and physically. You got to get up and go get it every day. Spiritually working out, what are you doing every day to put back into the stream of life? You know, how are you treating other people? Do you owe someone an apology? Do you tap into something spiritually every day, every week, every month, every year? If you don't, it's a big universe out there, y'all. You should really consider it. And mentally, what are you feeding yourself? You know, what kind of books do you read? What kind of videos do you watch? What kind of websites do you go to? What are you feeding yourself mentally? And physically, are you taking care of yourself? Are you giving your body enough rest? You putting the right fuel in? Take care of that temple, that body that you have. The third rule about being a coffee bean is the secret to life. And y'all, it took me going through a maximum security prison to learn what the secret to life was. The secret to life is real simple, though, y'all. It's one sentence. The secret to life is serving others and being humble. Servant leadership. Servant leadership's about helping other people achieve their goals in life, raising other people up to a different level, because we all got help along the way. None of us got where we are by ourselves, did we? It took servant leadership from someone else. So go apply that servant leadership. Help other people. The fourth rule about being a coffee bean is knowing what you control. To control is a hard thing for me, y'all. I had this idea of control in my head all my life, and I learned in prison that there are only 4 things that I control in life, and they're the same 4 things you control. You control what you think, what you say, what you feel, and most importantly, because everybody's going to see this, what you do. What you think, what you say, what you feel, what you do. If it's outside of that, you don't control it. Coffee beans, don't even worry about that. And the 5th rule about being a coffee bean, and this is the important one, y'all. The 5th rule about being a coffee bean is this: your past does not define you. No, it doesn't define you. If my past defined me, I wouldn't be in front of y'all tonight. Your past is your lesson. Learn from your past. Apply that past, y'all. That's right. Your present today, that's a gift. You're graduating from Lamar University, y'all. I mean, that is a gift. I mean, what more could you ask for in life? Today is a gift. Take advantage of that. But the future, that's what I want to talk to you about. The future, that's your motivation, y'all. The future is your motivation, but pick the right goals to be motivated by. Don't chase things around that are going to control you. I meet more people out here that are locked up than I ever did meet in prison. More people are in prison by thoughts than by steel bars. Better believe that. Your past is your lesson. The present is a gift. And the future, that's your motivation. So as we leave here tonight, we go out. Every good presentation has to end with a call to action, y'all. And this is no different. I'm going to give you a call to action tonight. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you the same call to action that Mr. Jackson gave me almost 10 years ago exactly in that jail cell in Dallas County. My call to action to each one of y'all tonight, graduated, and everybody in this room and all the instructors, my call to action to everybody in this arena tonight is go out there and go be that coffee bean. Class of 2019, thanks a lot, y'all. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.